Hi there, welcome to my blank slate. So this is me with nothing on my face right now. We've all got one, and I just wanted to do a little bit of a kind of once over about your face and the skin on your face. And I have more to discuss when we get closer to the eyes, but right now I just kind of want to focus on the actual skin health of our face. Now, as we age, with hormonal changes, with medicines that we're taking, we may see some hyperpigmentation or changes to the color of our face. I know I have a couple of spots here that have cropped up over the last couple of years, and while I don't mind them, I do like to have a more uniform pigmentation, I guess. And I love my freckles. I've never minded those. But underneath my eyes are definitely getting a little bit more dark or translucent, and I have a great way to fix that. So once again, I show you unique products, but you can use whatever you'd like. Just be sure that you're making the products high quality. Try and make them, you know, they're not tested on animals. Anything that's passionate to you, the better product you use, the better results you're gonna get, and the better you're gonna feel about what you're using. So I'm gonna show you today, and this is actually a little funny to me. When I started using face primer, or makeup primer, I had no idea what it was for, and I didn't really appreciate it. So then I started using it and I was like, ooh, this makes a really big difference. So I actually bought a couple of the primers at once just to have in stock because I had some built up WickedLash, and I said, well, I'm going to use that up. And I have the old school original packaging of our face primer. Now it comes in a pretty white tube with a silver cap. It's really beautiful, and not that this one isn't at all, but you're not going to see this on the website. This is old school because I stocked up on mine. So what a face primer does is it's going to fill in all of the little fine lines and the larger pores that you have, so you have a more smooth surface for application of your foundation. It's also going to create a longer wearing and not moving. You know, if it's hot outside, you're not going to see any movement of that foundation. It's going to actually work as a really good base to hold on to all of that. So what I'm going to show you is really how simple it is to use a makeup primer. This packaging has a little pump. The other one, we have a little squeeze bottle, so it doesn't really matter, but I use about that much. It's really not very much. Our primer is super light. It you won't even notice it's there, honestly. Once you put it on, it feels really velvety too. So you just rub it around, and I primarily put it in the areas that I need the most coverage, but then I kind of sweep it all over the rest. So you'll see me start under my eyes, around my eyes, down here, because I have a lot of redness too that I really don't like. This triangle here, this has been my nemesis my entire life. Even when I haven't been nervous or embarrassed or anything, people always think I am, because I have very red cheeks. The life of a redhead, right? So you rub it around, and it's really essentially just like putting on some moisturizer. It actually feels like a moisturizer. And then that's it. So I let it dry for a couple minutes. Sometimes I don't have the 5 minutes that it suggests you use. Actually, most mornings I don't. I have 4 kids at home. And if I'm trying to get out the door in the morning, I can't walk around for 5 minutes. If I think of it and I'm really organized that morning, I might put it on, brush my teeth, go out of my bathroom, do something like get a kid dressed, then come back in and do my makeup, but that's only on an organized morning. So usually it's only a good minute. And you can't see what it's doing right now at all. It's invisible, it's clear, but what it has done is it's settling in as it dries in all of those tiny little crevices in the bigger pores on your face. So if you have put foundation on before and you've found that it emphasized the things that you don't really like, that's why, because you're not using a good primer or it's not a high quality product. So it's just sitting on my face. I actually don't feel it at all now. It's extremely lightweight. So I'm gonna move on because I feel like we're in a good spot. And just to touch on some tools, I use our liquid foundation brush. It's a natural fiber brush. It's totally up to you what you use, but I will tell you, the better the tool you use, the better application you're gonna get. So we just came out with this spring, and it is actually one of my favorite brushes. It has a little well in the center, and I believe that's because when you're pushing it on your face, it spreads out and you get a nice even coverage. It's really fine, super soft, but the tools you use are actually really important with the application results that you get. So keep that in mind when you're going to put on your makeup. And so what I'm going to show you today for your foundation layer, ouch, I just dropped that on my toe, is our liquid foundation. It's our Touch Minerals. And what this is it goes on as a liquid and it dries as a powder. So it is a really light and airy coverage. You don't need a lot, and I'm going to show you exactly how I put it on now. And you can kind of make this work for you too. So ours comes in a little dropper. I give it a little shake, and you just squeeze it, it's a little dropper. I love this stuff. I'm using organza. That's kind of my go-to color with all of our products. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the brush, and I'm actually going to put it directly on the brush. So I only usually use maybe 4 drops. Maybe today I'll do 5 just to show you. But you really don't need very much at all. I see a lot of YouTube videos where girls are squirting out this insane amount of product onto their hand, and you know, for somebody like me who really doesn't love a lot of product on my face, that is a turnoff for me. So the fact that I can use this much and get the coverage I'm going to get from it is really exciting. So I'm just going to show you how I put it on, and I want at the end of this you to look at the before and after. I took a picture of me like this, and I'm going to show you a picture afterwards. Now keep in mind, this is not going to be this is really just what's going to keep everything evened out, cover up these spots that I don't love. It's not to provide the highlighting or the contouring at all. So this is really your foundation layer, okay? So I'm going to start out with taking this right here, and I'm just going to touch it right underneath where I really need the coverage. I know I like this spot to get a little bit more covered up. These down here. Maybe blend this a little bit more, kind of like that. So I look hysterical, right? And I have this red mark right here that I don't love. So anyways, you just start blending, and that's all it takes. I feel like we should have a contest as to who can make the funniest makeup face when you're putting something on, like your mascara, or this, or lipstick, and if you find you don't have enough on, you just go back to the brush, put another drop or 2 on to get the coverage that you want. So really, 5 drops is a very minimal amount of product. So this morning, I'm noticing I'm a little bit more red than I usually am. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to put another drop or 2. But you can already see how much more even my skin tone is. So I'm actually just going to do 1 or 2 more drops so you can really see. I didn't really get the coverage I want on this. I've done a video before where I've put permanent marker on my face. I know that's insane to use office products on your face, but Hazel, my daughter, one of my daughters, had a blast doing it. She drew all over my face, and then I used this to cover it up, and you could not see it. It was amazing. So I'm going to just go back in here. Where else? That dot right here. And just continue to blend. And I'm going to have you look and see, and there's no covering up this mole that lives there. I'm going to have you compare my 2 photos from before to after, because I think you're going to see a big difference. And that is it. That is as simple as it gets with putting on your foundation layer. You want to blend, you want to cover up the spots you want, use a high quality product, and this is where you start. And I always suggest you using you using the primer beforehand, because you're gonna get all of those little spots that are normally highlighted by a less expensive or less high quality foundation, or even a high quality foundation. If you have a lot of larger pores or a lot of finer lines, they're gonna settle in that, whether they're a super high product or high quality product or not. So the primer is a really big deal. It's going to keep all of those little crevices and pores from being a highlight on your face. They're actually going to fall into the background. So I'll have you check out my before and after picture and tell me what you think.